Hey, we live? I think we're live. So, good evening, everyone. This is a complete ninja stream. I wasn't really planning on doing this tonight, but I got a bunch of new equipment that I want to test out. So, we're going to do something small here. So the last time we had done this, and I'm still going to do my normal one on Wednesday, but the last time we had worked on the CRM, we, excuse me, throat's been a little messed up from weather or whatnot. We set up some unit tests and we connected those up with the API, which I think was the first time we started creating a model and controller and routes and whatnot. So we got that all put in there and squared away. I can't remember if we did a test. Yeah, I seem to recall doing a test using PowerShell to make sure the actual thing works, so that's good. Okay, so yeah, and we got the custom environment and everything set up, so alright, good. What I'm gonna do to start off with, what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna hook the actually no, before I go that far, I want to see if I did API service. What did I do? Base URL. Yeah, local. Okay, so I'm still using mock API here, so that is good. And I want to, because I've got Axios installed and I've got my service all set up. I've got the route to get customers and I've got the route to create new customers in here. So I'm going to see if we can rewire this. First off, I got my form in here. All right, so it looks like I got a first name and a last name. And that's being pulled from the mock API right now, but we want to change that. We want it to look to our local API. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to actually start up our API. I didn't have any plan for this or anything whatsoever, so we're just going to kind of wing it and see what happens. Let's see, Vue. I'll have to excuse me if my typing is going to be a little off. I have a completely new setup. I got a new monitor, new webcam, new microphone. And I didn't think about the keyboard, so I'm using an old keyboard that isn't working quite well. So cd to Vue App 1, and we're going to npm run serve, which is going to compile our Vue application and get it all fired up. I'm going to open another terminal. I'm going to cd to R1, cd to Vue, cd to API, and we're going to what did I have set up here? Let's take a look at the npm commands. npm scripts, npm start. All right, npm start. This is going to start up our API. Okay, and that seems to be working now at 8082. We're listening on. So let's let this guy finish here, and we're going to see how far along we are here. See what we have all set up. See if we can't convert this over to using our newly created API. Okay, so I'll click and go to this guy. I gotta bring this over to this screen here. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we do or get anything. Customers. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, some of this is coming back to me now. Okay, so we're looking to that mock, the mock API.io. Got to add customers, first name, last name, and we can save it. It saves it. I don't see it on the screen, but if I show all, you can see. Oh, here we go. First name, last name. There we go. That's the guy we created. So let's do this. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to kill the Vue app, because we got to change the environment variables, and those things get brought in at compile time and won't dynamically be brought back in. So our local should be localhost. This guy here. This is what we want to point our base API to. So localhost ;8082. So we're going to go into let's see here, under Vue app. We want to come into env.local. And we're going to change this guy to http://localhost 8082, because that's where we have our API running on. So let's save that. And let's fire this guy up again. Let that compile. We shouldn't need to recompile the thing anymore because that's the only thing I think that we need to pull in at compile time, so we'll let that go. Now the other thing I'm going to do, I'm actually going to try and go through this pretty quick. Oh, actually I lied. I do have one in here to create a customer. Did I create the proper controller method for create customers? Okay. And when did I set the route? Did I create the routes now? Post. Cool. This should work. This might actually be a complete swap, which would be pretty awesome. So I should be able to send an array of new customers, which in this case I think our model only has first name and last name. Good, simple and easy, we like that. So I'm going to close out some of the stuff I got open because I got a bunch of stuff. Let's go into our service. Let's see how we have this set up. So get customers just returns customers. It's going to return an array. That's what we would expect. And this does, okay, so this posts a single customer data attribute here. I'm going to get rid of the ID because we didn't take that into account in our Node API. Let's see here. So that's fine. I'm actually going to do, we're going to get rid of this and we're not going to create a custom object here. We're actually going to do just pass in customers. And we're going to change this guy up here instead of customer data to customers. Because what we're going to do is we're going to pass an array of new customers into here. And even though we're only creating one at a time, it does open our API up for more flexibility in the future because we've taken into consideration if we ever did want to batch send it in some customers, we can do it. Like my side project or my product, whatever you want to call it, that I'm working on is going to eventually be able to import a vast list of customers from different sources. So I don't want to set it up so I have to call the API, you know, one customer call it, one customer call it. You want to just, hey, let's compile it, let's bring all the JSON together, send it all in one shot, and just be done with it. And let it handle it all right away. Okay, so the service here has been updated. Let's go into our view here, and we have, actually we don't need to change any of the forms or any of the data that's in here, but what we do want to change is this async save new customer. We want to pass this in as an array instead, and all we have to do is add square brackets here, and it will on the fly create a new array and then add this dot new customer into that array. So that should be all we have to change there, and we have to change, I'm going to save that, make sure that works. And ESLint is going to complain about a lot of things because I haven't taken that into consideration. So we only wanted to be on here for about 15 minutes, so we're looks like we're kind of on schedule if this is going to work properly. Alright, so let's refresh this page. We're going to bring everything in fresh because we did recompile and everything. And we have a 404 customer not found. Let's take a look back in here and see why that is. Okay, so it looks like I have it mounted on customers, which is common. You want your resources, your API resources, endpoints to be plurals if you're ever going to work with multiple or with an arrays of data as opposed to single objects. I think it's best practice to always make them plural anyway, but looks like that's probably going to be our issue. So let's go into our service, and we're just going to add an S onto the end here. Okay, you can actually see Morgan threw an error here. It's 404. Oh, I got another 404. What do we do here? Let's refresh here again, see what we're doing. And we get the same thing. Why did we get the same thing? Now I'm confused, and now I have a problem to go solve. So I'm going to close this out here for a sec. All right, so, here we go, /API/customers. So, you know what I actually want to do is, I know I said this would be the last time we're going to recompile, but I think the better place to change this, since every call to our API is going to have /API in it, it'd be best to change it in the environment variable as opposed to in the service itself. So we're going to do that. We change it there. We're going to recompile and relaunch the development server. And I'm going to take a sip of water. This guy finish going through, and we're loading, and we're loading, and we're loading, and we're being patient, I'm never patient. Actually, that's not entirely true. I can be patient. It's just when it comes to development. Computers, for some reason, I'm never patient, like at all. I want things to be done yesterday. Pay all this money for all this high capacity hardware, and the thing still takes forever to do anything. Like right now, all I'm doing is coding and streaming, and my laptop fans are spinning at 5 billion RPMs. Okay, still is not working. Why is it not working? Valid prop. Expected prop for items. Expected array got object. Why did we get an object? Alright, let's come back in here. This is why I gotta do this a little more frequently than a week, is because I don't touch this stuff for a while and then I come back and forgot what I had done. Actually, I probably should have prepared more for this, but like I said, I wasn't even really planning on doing this tonight. I just want to test out some new stuff. Who knows, this stream could come out looking like garbage and appearing like garbage and no one can see or do anything, so. Alright, back on track. So let's see, what did we return? Let's see, in our controller, let's see, we gotta find, it should return an array. And it doesn't because I piped it in like this, yeah. Okay, so I think we might be past third time's the charm, but we're gonna go with third time's the charm. Get customers, let's see, let's add this here as data. Save this and let this go again. We're going to refresh so I can clear out everything that's in that console. I'll log down here and fingers crossed again. No errors. That's good. That's probably good. Actually, you know what a good way for us to check. So let's look over here. API customers. It looks like that might be the right one. I'm seeing a 304. I'm seeing a 304. I don't know what 304 means off the top of my head, actually. But let's go ahead and add a new customer. Let's add Brian Morrison, and let's save it and see if it works. We have our customer here. We got a 200 on the post and the get. So let's go ahead and add another customer. Add the wife's name, Crystal.Morrison. She's Morrison now, which I love. And we have Crystal.Morrison. Let's refresh this to make sure we're getting some clean data back from the API. And we're good. So only took us about 15 minutes and some testing from some decisions I had made I've forgotten last time. But we are fully away from the mockapi.io service I was using when I first started this project, and we have pointed our Vue application to look to our local API that we built out last week. So with that, I'm going to call it because I'm exhausted and I still have some things I got to get done before the evening, and I have to check to make sure this video is not a complete waste of time. So if you have any questions, feel free to message me, subscribe, like, do whatever the cool kids are doing these days. You can reach me on Facebook, Twitter, pretty much wherever. Brian at brianmorrison.me is my email address. You can email me. I don't care. I'll get back to you. I respond to all my emails. So with that, have a good night.